Dovahkiin, and a simple game of tea. Coming at you on a dragon from the land of Skyrim. Kill the trolls, stole some gold, and 8 little kids. Now prepare ye one and all for a week of podcast. I wrote that.
Hello, once again, Simple Gaming fans, and welcome to a podcast that's audio only, mainly because I'm not that well versed in video podcasting, but joining me here today to have a little chat about Skyrim and maybe a little bit of other stuff, if we get around to it, is Elliot Birch for just a short thing where we can have a chat about what we think about the game in this week of Skyrim podcasts.
Yes! Sorry.
And he's very excited.
That was loud. Yeah, I'm fucking excited. So motherfucking fuck-ass bitch cunt excited. Sorry, that was lots of swearing in a short amount of time.
I think Skyrim is worthy of this swearing.
Yeah, because it's
really
so good. Oh my god.
So good.
It's exactly what I needed after, like, just annoyance with Modern Warfare 3 and just going, yep, this game is shit forever. And then just going, oh dear. I'm disappointed. I was like, if Skyrim sucks, I will kill myself. And I was being literal. Maybe
We're all
not.
very concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, but I was just so disappointed, and then, like, Skyrim's just like, hey, dude, this is everything you wanted. And I'm just like, yeah! And I did a little jig, and I, like, jumped up in the air, clicked my heels together. It was awesome.
And now it's up to Skyrim to save the world.
Or Elliot, either way.
Anyway, I just wanted to start off with, just our opinion about the game and its release and etc. And we'll get into some more specific stuff a little later on. So, I mean, I've talked a bloody lot over the past couple of days on my website and on YouTube about the game. So, I mean, Elliot, why don't you just hit us up with an expanded view of your celebration of Skyrim?
Well, firstly, I guess you could start with, like, my first impressions of the game when I first saw it. Initially, I was kind of like, like, I saw the graphics and I was like, yeah, it's good. It's good, but it's not what I expected, you know, like, with Oblivion, I expected a huge jump from all, you see all this footage on YouTube and all the footage, released by Bethesda, and it looked crazy good on their renderings, like, they obviously got the best content they could and put that out, which, you can't fault them for that. And it came out, and there's still a few little things that I'd like to be improved, but it's still, like all this said, it's still an amazing looking game. Like, it looks brilliant, and it's a huge step up from Oblivion. Like, I don't know, if Oblivion's a 5, this is a 9 or something, because it looks awesome. And they've done a lot of good work with a small amount of resources, because obviously this thing had to be playable on the Xbox and the PS3, so they've had to, compress a lot of their textures. The polygon count is really low on the scenery, not so much on the characters. The characters have got quite high polygon count, which is cool. But the scenery is very low res. If you like walk up to a mountain, you can see like just sheer sort of just polygon areas and stuff. It's pretty obvious. But they did such a good job with the texturing, even though it is low res. They did such a good job with the texturing to make it look rugged and awesome. And it doesn't fully detract from it because you still get this craggy sort of rustic feel to everything. I don't know if you got that as well. But yeah, that was just my first sort of impressions. But as I played the game, I just forgot about everything else because it's so immersive. And even though the game, I mean, it doesn't look as good as, like, say, The Witcher 2 or Battlefield 3, it still looks amazing and it looks good enough. I mean, things like the sky and the vistas that you'll look across, they look top notch, like 10 out of 10, beautiful. But you just don't even notice any of the problems after a while, like any of the glitches or whatever. It's just all beautiful. It just sort of grows on you as you keep going through. So that's my progression of thought as I've played like about 18, 19 hours of the game. Initially I was like, but as you just get into the game and realize how much work's been put into it and how good it is, it just sort of grows on you and you're just like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah, I had this, you talk about like being a little taken aback by how, like, I'm sure a lot of people expected like a bigger jump graphically. I mean, what were you talking about, Witcher 2, and I mean, especially with Battlefield 3 and how much a jump that is in graphics from, say, Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 2. I mean, you've got a similar space of time there as well, but despite that, I mean, when I first sat down and actually played it, and I got to the character customization at the start after that little wagon ride. I mean, that can't be a spoiler. I sat there and I was like, it doesn't look as good as I expected. Like, there are little things, especially in the buildings, where I'd go, it kind of looks like I could be in Oblivion, but it's a big enough step up that I'm willing to accept it as a world of its own.
Yeah, well, certainly the villages and the textures and the models of like statues and stuff look way better than anything Oblivion did.
Yeah.
And of course, the characters look a lot better, but there's still something about the characters that isn't quite right. And that's just I think that's just an Oblivion, like a Bethesda thing, really. It's like they're just not that good when it comes to doing character models and, animations and stuff. Like, obviously, it's a big game. There's a lot of assets going on. They don't have a lot of time to put into everything. Like, they did spend a lot of time on this game, but, something's got to give. And I think it's the animations to an extent. Not necessarily of the creatures. Like, the creatures in the game look awesome, but there's still something not perfect about the character animations, which, by the way, it's still great. It's just not spot on.
Yeah. Well, it's the big thing is that they got rid of, like, I've heard it called, I don't know the right word for it, but a lot of people just call it, like, the Play-Doh faced, like, characters they used to have, where basically everything was just an advancement on a theme. Like a different face, and you just sort of mush it into a different shape.
Yeah.
I mean, them getting rid of that after, 2 or 3 games based on that sort of modeling, that's a big step for them. I'm really happy they did it. And the way they do conversations now is a lot easier, and even so, like, animations repeat and all that, but it doesn't bother you as much because you're busy listening to what the person is saying.
Yeah.
Like you were talking about, being immersed in the game is a big part of just forgetting about all the faults that a lot of people might have a problem with.
Yeah. I think one thing you mentioned there was the conversations. I actually thought, from what the devs were saying before the game was released, that it would be a lot more fluid. Like, you could actually walk around where people were talking to you. That happens very rarely. Like, when you're in a conversation screen, it's almost exactly like Oblivion, except you can move your head, and that's about it, right?
And you get more of a zoomed out sort of feel.
Yeah, and you can do the conversation fully zoomed out if you want, but you can't zoom in and out while you're in the conversation, and you can't move around while you're in the conversation, which, I don't know, why didn't they let you move around?
It might have wreaked havoc with their AI when it comes to the characters. I don't know, that's a good question, though. I mean, I'm sure they'll tell us something as time goes on, hopefully.
Yeah, that was the impression they gave as well when they were talking about the game. They're like, now you can just, it's very fluid, you can walk around while they're talking to you, and they'll move, and they'll keep looking at you. But that was, I hate to say it's a lie, but they kind of lied about that, or, certainly misled everyone. But it's, saying that, it's still awesome. Like, they can take some, artistic license with their words, because they produce something that's truly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, every game's gonna have that slight marketing style edge to what they say about it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that's not gonna happen in the end. They've got to promote it the best they possibly can, and yeah, that's true. Some of the conversations, there isn't the freedom you might have got that they promised, but I am happy that you can just drop out of a conversation that's not, like, central to a storyline. Like, if I don't want to talk to someone, I just hit tab and walk away.
Yeah, and I'm out.
I love doing it.
Yeah, it's great. And I think the interface change is something that is really, really cool. I also, I talked about this a lot on my podcast that's coming out on Friday. So if people who listen to my podcast are listening to this, they're getting like a sneak peek of what me and Brian and I are going to be talking about. But the UI is something that's extremely well done, and it's a big addition to the game, because the UI in Oblivion really got in the way. Like, it was so clunky, and unless you modded it and made it more usable for the PC, kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Everything was really big, and sorry. Pardon. Everything was really big, and it got in the way, and it just sort of ruined the immersion of the game. Like, you were in something, you were in like a cool cave, and then all of a sudden your packs are full and you got to go into your inventory and you got to fuck around in there. But now you press tab or I or whatever, and you go into this inventory and you can still see what's going on behind the screen. Like, it's paused, but you can see what's going on behind you. You can now rotate the items and have a look at them, just see it in 3D. And it's through this that you don't really miss the character view that you used to have in Oblivion, because, you know, you could put stuff on your character and rotate it around, but you don't really need that because you've got your third person view, and you can like look at each individual piece of armor and stuff and like check them out fully rotated around, which is awesome. And so yeah, the UI is beautiful, the typography is great, like they did a really, really good job, and it's just this amazing design, which, you know, a lot of games fall down on their UI because, you know, people might not notice it. But games like Modern Warfare 2 and 3 were games that, I don't know why they didn't change the UI, but it's like they've just spat out the same UI from 2009. It sucked back then. And, you know, the designers suck. They're just like not good at designing, you know, when it comes to typography. I can't say the same about Bethesda because they're fucking amazing with what they do. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, the UI change is brilliant. I think the best thing they've done... I mean, of course, hotkeys were in the game beforehand. Hotkeys are just part of PC, you know, the PC environment.
Yeah.
But just having that favorite screen, that one little cosmetic change where I tap Q and there's a list of whatever I want to use the most.
Yeah.
Helps so much, because I've got more than 8 things that I want to have there.
Yeah,
you know, I've got bows and swords and spells, and hell, I could put anything there if I wanted. Potions, whatever. I think it's really great design choice to have that there, because it changes everything from the flicking through Oblivion menus and equipping something else and going back out. And it gives you a lot more room to customize yourself.
Yeah, and as a mage, that system in Oblivion sucked, because like you could only store 8 spells, and some of those things you wanted to be weapons and stuff, and rings and all that sort of shit, so you could flip them out quickly. But then you had no room for your spells, and then you ended up going into the stupid menu, which was hard to navigate. Saying that though, Skyrim, I wish there was the number thing, like so you could press numbers and switch out stuff. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm missing it. But
you can. There are hotkeys enabled.
Oh, really? So you can actually assign them to keys?
Yeah, it took me... Okay, for anyone listening out there, since we're going to talk about this anyway, it took me a while to discover it as well. I was kind of confused, and I was always using the favorites menu. Yeah. So basically, all you need to do is go into your favorites menu and just tap the key on between 1 and 8 on whatever you want to assign that thing to. They don't actually tell you it.
Oh, that's
which
awesome.
I find odd, but do that and you're fine.
Why didn't they tell you that?
I don't know. I don't even think it's in the manual.
People are going to bag the shit out of me on my videos.
Oh,
like,
no.
Pressing Q, going to my firebolt. Yeah, firebolt time. I'm going to be Kamehameha people. People are going to be like, you're an idiot. You didn't know that you could press 1 on shit.
Everyone's just going to be like, Elliot, you don't need to go Q and then double click on everything all the time.
You know what I'll say? You know what I'll say to them? I'll say QQ.
Oh,
yeah.
Pun.
Yeah, it's bad. But yeah, so that's amazing. Okay, I take everything back that I said.
There is one small gripe I've had, and it's probably only central to people who do a lot of magic in the game, but if you're trying to use a staff with like a sword or a spell often, the staff, you can't just sort of tap both keys and the staff will go into one hand and the other thing the other. Like, often it'll whack. Like, if you choose a sword, it'll put the sword up, and then if you choose a staff, it replaces the sword with the staff.
Oh, right, if you assign things to 1 and 2 and stuff?
Yeah, so if I hit 1 for sword and then hit 2 for staff, the staff comes up, and the sword goes away. I don't know.
So it doesn't assign it to specific hands?
It will for everything else, though, which I find weird. Like, if I double tap a key for magic, it assigns it to both hands.
So it'll put a weapon in the main hand, because your right hand is the main hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
It is. I find that weird. I think it might be a bug, because with everything else, like if I double tap 4 for fireball, and then I want to have lightning in my left hand, I just hit the key for lightning, and it'll pop up in my left hand, and I'll still have fireball in my right. So, I mean, I don't know. If anyone else has issues, I mean, feel free to comment on it.
Yeah. One thing that I'd like to mention is that being a mage is so much better. Like, I mentioned it before, but it's so good now, because you've got all these crazy spells, firstly. They're all really easy to use. You can get to everything really quickly from your quick menu. Pardon me. From your quick menu. And you can use all these staves and stuff like that, which are awesome. But I think it'd be really good if there was, like, weapons specifically for mages. Like, I was hoping that staves were two-handed weapons that you could hit people with and shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like as a mage, I've got a dagger. I don't want to use a big sword and stuff, because that's not very mage-like, you know what I mean? I want to use, like, daggers and staves and things like that, but there's nothing out there. So it's kind of, I'm a bit disappointed with the weapon selection out there. But saying that, staves have been, like, the charges in weapons have been reworked, and they're much better now. Oblivion, like, you would use a weapon 3 or 4 times and it was done. In this, there's so many soul gems everywhere. They're so easy to lock. I found a weapon that locks them into the souls really soon, like really early in the game. So I'm locking all these souls into gems. I've got heaps of charges for all my staffs. I've got like 4 or 5 staffs that I use. So it's really awesome. I can just like switch to a staff if I'm out of mana and be like pew pew and keep pew pewing as a mage. It's awesome fun. So there's some bad things and some good things, but I think the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, that's true. This game is just so we can continue on to something more specific before we spend the whole half hour on opinion. This game is in complete, brevity. It's incredible. I mean, it's been a long time for me. I mean, I've just done my HSC. I've finished off year 12, so I hadn't had the time much to play anything, and I'd started to get burned out on video games anyway. But the second I got this, I spent 24 straight hours playing it with a friend. Yeah. We're in a LAN environment, so it's brilliant. In my opinion, there is very, very little they need to change about it, if they ever change anything about Skyrim.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've played about 18 hours, and I wanted to play just now, but you were like, "Come to a podcast," and I was like, shit, I forgot." So lucky you did that, because I'd be playing Skyrim right now, and you'd be lost to me. I would just be not listening to anyone.
Oh,
it's so good.
I have to say, hearing your adventures and being able to talk about what you're doing in the game with you and Toby and Trent, it's a lot of fun.
It's good though. It's good as well because you can. Pardon me, I've got some sort of cold jizz thing. It's good because you can find. It's kind of like Dark Souls, right? You can find out cool shit that you missed, and you can also, if you have a problem, like you don't know how to do something, like I just had with that stuff, the numbers stuff. I can be like, "Hey, how do you do this?" And then someone will know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's fun to talk to people about this game because there's enough content.
Yeah,
that it's very rare you'll come across someone who has experienced the exact same thing as you.
Yeah. Hey,
if you manage that, I'll be very impressed.
I've got a question for you. Here's a tough one, a teaser. When you pick up an item, like you can hold down E and like pick up an item.
Yeah.
How do you rotate it? Is that possible?
What do you mean?
Spin it around.
Oh yeah. Actually, I tried to do that. I picked up a bucket once and tried to push it further away from myself and rotate it. I actually have no idea.
Because I've seen people like putting barrels on people's heads and shit on YouTube, and I've been trying to organize my house with items, but you can't spin shit around and put it in the right spot. It's impossible. It doesn't work.
Until someone comments on this and tells us what the hell we need to do, I don't know, maybe you just need to bang shit against walls until it gets in the right way.
It seems silly to have to do that. I could have sworn there was a way to do that.
I think I could. I don't know if it's me playing too much Amnesia, but I'm pretty sure there was a way to do that in Oblivion, to rotate things.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But, I don't know. I can't remember a specific time when I was doing that. But it seems like for a game where they really promote, pimping out your house and putting shit in it, kind of seems weird that they wouldn't let you rotate items around and...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. It's weird. I've been trying to find it out. I can't find it out.
We'll find something. This will be on YouTube and iTunes, so, people, leave a comment and tell us, because if you don't, eventually Elliot's going to go insane.
Yeah, I'm going to kill you if you don't tell me. You specifically, listener.
Alrighty.
Okay, then.
Before some serious allegations get made, I think we should talk about the range of choice in the game. Yeah. Which is not something that Elder Scrolls games have been massive fans of, especially outside of, say, choosing your class or what you specialize in.
Yeah.
So what I mean here is more stuff like the factional conflicts in the game, without giving away too much spoilers. The choice of being able to bring people along with you, much like Fallout, and I guess in general, any sort of major choices it allows you to make, like helping specific people against others, because there weren't a lot of opportunities for that in Oblivion.
Yeah, there was a couple, but not when it came to factions, really. Was there? There was, in quests, like you could choose to side with someone or the other, help someone, betray them. But when it came to factions, there was no hard choices as much. Like, I think there might have been a few in Oblivion. But a really big part of this game is that there's these two factions, and you've got to choose. They're both really kind of questionable on some point. You don't have to choose if you don't want. You don't have to do anything. But,
you literally you can just ignore them.
Yeah, but they're both... There's things about both of them that are bad, and there's things about both of them that are good. It's very hard to choose which side.
Yeah,
I haven't decided.
I know Trent had a very easy choice, and I don't consider it a spoiler to tell people who they are, because if you're interested in this game, you should probably already know.
Yeah.
So if you really don't want to know, I guess just stop listening right here or something.
It's not a spoiler though. It's not.
Yeah. I don't want people freak out, go crazy. But so I talked to Trent about it, and he had literally no problem choosing the Stormcloaks. And at the start, I was like, these guys seem cool and honorable.
Yeah.
But the thing I like is as you get deeper into each faction's
But you spend the whole start of the game killing them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Depending on which one you choose, you kill I think it's 10 or 12 people from the other side.
Oh, so you actually have to choose at the start. I just picked one guy and just went with him. I didn't realize it was a choice.
Yeah, you can either run through one door with the Stormcloak or another door with the Imperial, and you'll end up killing the other side. But then when you go talk to them, they forgive you, which is awesome,
Yeah.
gameplay-wise. Anyway, the thing I like is when I walk into either of their home cities, there are several people in there who will come up to you, or if you talk to them, there's no reason for you to actually talk to them if you're not interested, and they don't actually point you toward them. I walked into Windhelm, the home city of the Stormcloaks, and I just talked to a random guy because I like doing that, and he had, this big list of complaints about the way the Stormcloaks do things and all that stuff, and then there was a similar thing in the Imperial City.
Yeah.
And I like how they give you this big, conflicting thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember before the game, I got it early from Game, and I hope most other people in Australia probably did as well. But I came back with my friends to our LAN environment, and we had to wait till 12. And I sat there, and one of the first things I said when I looked at the game, and I was talking to them, I said, I really hope there's some sort of depth of conflict and factional racism in this game, because I really love it when they do that in games like The Witcher and Fallout.
Yeah. It certainly adds some sort of conflict and a hook to the story. Well, another sort of sideline story. So that's awesome. And The Witcher did it really well, obviously. But Skyrim does it even better, in my opinion, because you don't have to pick a side if you don't want to. You can sort of be like, I don't want to involve myself in that story this playthrough, because there'll be more than one playthrough. I guarantee it if you buy this game.
Yeah.
So it's really cool how they've done that. And I just love... sometimes I do get a little bit... what's the word? I do cop a little bit of overload when I go into a town or something, and there's 3 or 4 people running at me giving me quests, and then there's some dude hey, come over here, and you go over there and he'll give you a quest. It's there's too much sometimes, and I'd like that to be sort of dumbed down a bit, or you can sort of pick up the quests without them running over to you or whatever. It's good, but I feel overloaded at times.
I know exactly what you mean there, and I'm sure a lot of other people are experiencing this. But in the first, I guess, 10 hours of that game, if you choose to run away from the main storyline like I did, because I basically went to all 4 corners of Skyrim just in direct lines before I continued past, Whiterun, I just encountered so much content, so many quests, so many dungeons. Half of the time, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I have no idea what I'm meant to be doing right now. I went to the Mages Guild because I wanted to go talk to them, and I got there, and then I left because I didn't know if I wanted to do anything for them anymore.
Yeah, because that's one thing with me. Like, I'm like the complete opposite. I like to like unlock parts of the game slowly. So I'll do something because I don't like getting this massive overload of information and then knowing everything. You know, like I don't like knowing everything about the world. I'd like to be like, like you know, 3-4 weeks from now, still going, holy shit, what's this cool mountain or this cool cave or whatever. And I'm sure you can still keep doing that, but that's why I haven't sort of gone to every part of the realm yet. I've been quite a few places. But I haven't been to every city yet. I've just sort of, you know, mucked around, done some quests, and I don't want to ruin it, if you get what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to see everything and be like, oh, I got to go there again, and then be able to just teleport there. I like to have to, for the first time I go somewhere, I love to walk there and, like, experience stuff.
I get what you mean there as well. When I was talking about that Mages Guild thing, after I did that, I basically was just like, I'm not going to go anywhere until I've had some time to settle down in the areas I've been, because with Oblivion, I mean, not to insult the amount of content that was in Oblivion, because there was a lot.
Yeah.
But it was just a matter of fact that if you wandered through the world, there was less stuff to find, or it was more spread out than in Skyrim.
Yeah, everything's much more compact. Like, the world is actually, it feels smaller than Oblivion, I would think. But, like, you know, it doesn't take as long to walk places, which is a good and a bad thing. But, I kind of liked Oblivion for its, like, crazy, massive world that you could walk through and just be like, hey, what's this? Whoa! But, Skyrim's certainly cool in the fact that it's smaller, but there's a lot of stuff crammed in. Which sounds bad, but it's actually good.
Yeah, I said that in the video cast I did, number 3. I talked a lot about how I like how they've managed to cram so much content into an environment that is, at least I'm pretty sure, quite literally smaller than Cyrodiil was.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it feels like it. I mean, it used to take you ages to ride a horse to another town in Oblivion, but now you can kind of reach the other end of the map if you don't stop. If you just keep going and don't stop for anything, you can kind of go from the middle of the map to one side in, I don't know, I'd say around 25 minutes, half an hour of just riding. Yeah,
you wouldn't dream of doing that in Oblivion.
No, that's...
It would take ages. It would probably take an hour or two.
But
I think, to walk across the whole world.
Speaking of what we've done in the game so far, feel free to leave comments and or send me emails, because I'll read them out on whatever podcast, videocast, etc. I do after this. Tell me what you've done so far and how you feel about the amount of content. But just to polish up this podcast, I thought we'd talk about the more exciting stuff we've done so far. So, just because I talk a lot, I'll let Elliot start. What's the most sort of, for lack of a better word, invigorating stuff you've done so far in this game?
Well, firstly, there's the dragon fights, which are awesome. Like the wild ones, where you're just walking along and you're like, hey, holy shit, there's a dragon above me. It's like,
the music comes on.
Yeah, I love
dragon.
That in itself is awesome. But I did a really, really cool quest that is going to be on one of my videos, probably like the fifth video that I did. And it's basically reforging this amulet. So you get this quest. You look through all these. If you look through this certain book, you'll get a quest. And it's you got to find this amulet, these parts of this amulet, put it together. And the last battle was like this crazy fucking battle with these 3 undead and like dudes that kept. I won't ruin it, but it was basically awesome, really exciting. And the video, you'll be like, holy shit! It was crazy. The battle went for a while, and it was a fun fight. So probably those 2 things stick out in my mind. But there's been heaps of other shit that's awesome, like. I guess, like, just walking around on the mountains is also one of them. Like, holy shit, this thing's tall. That sort of stuff. But yeah, that's probably my most exciting things that happened so far.
So far. Alright, well, yeah, I can't say the dragon fights now, but I'm sure everyone would say that.
Yeah.
I'd say, one of the most exciting things I've seen, or maybe most people wouldn't call it exciting, but I'm sort of semi into the design or level design or whatever you want to call it. But when I walked into the Imperial City, which is Solitude...
I haven't been there yet, but I look forward to it.
It's a very interesting place. And then, because I was investigating which faction I'd like to join, and then I went to the Stormcloak City straight after, it's so impressive how distinctly they've managed to capture the traits of each.
Yeah.
Like, I really love how they've got the essence of what was Oblivion still kind of in this game, in the design of Solitude. I don't want to blab on too much about this. And I guess one of the other things that I got really excited about was the magic effects. Because
they look awesome.
Everybody knows that Oblivion's magic effects, like the particle effects that went off every time you fired off a spell, weren't massively impressive. But now, if anyone's done any stuff with Conjuration, like Summon Familiar or Raise Undead, just watch what happens when you summon the Familiar, because I find it incredible the amount of effort they've gone into making specific looks for each spell.
Yeah. It looks really good.
Especially when it comes to the shouts. They all have their sort of distinct tone of voice, which is brilliant. I love it.
Yes. Certainly. It looks great. And I've been playing a mage, so I've been playing an evoker, actually.
Evoker.
I just use fire spells, really. And they're awesome. It looks so good.
One thing I would like to say, just on the topic of magery.
Wizardry, I think it's.
Wizardry, magery, magi, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I think my magic skill is starting to get high enough, and it's not as lame as it was in Oblivion, where people would be like, I see you've experimented heavily with destruction magic. Like, instead, guards, when they walk past you, they'll stop, they'll, like, look at you, and then one of them said to me once, destruction spells are fine, just don't go setting any houses on fire.
Yeah.
And then walked away.
Yeah, and if you shout too much in a village, they'll get angry at you. They're like, hey, cut that out. Have you seen that?
I've seen that as well. Though I do love when you shout at the greybeards, nothing happens.
Yeah, they're like, ow, and they're like, fuck you. And then they...
I'm fine.
Cool.
But yeah, I guess that's a good half hour for you people to sit here and listen to and be impressed by our own shouty voices.
Yay. I just want to go play Elder Scrolls now, so...
Me too. I need to do some videos. Before we go, several things I'd like to say, and I'll give Elliot a chance to promote whatever he'd like to promote.
Yay.
Little plugs. I guess there's three things. First thing is, I'm doing a series of, I don't know what you'd call them, like, narrative journals on the Simple Gamers website, which are basically documentation from my character's perspective on my experiences with the Dark Brotherhood. That's probably the best way I can describe it, because I really want to get into the role-playing when it comes to that sort of faction. As well as that, I'll be putting up a series of videos just to see if people like me doing videos about Skyrim. I'm not sure how people feel about it at the moment, because I haven't seen a whole lot of sort of YouTubers doing videos about it, I should say. So I'll be doing a series of videos about the Dark Brotherhood and maybe a little bit of the Champions Guild stuff if people like it. Oh yes, and there'll be more podcasts leading up to Friday when Trent, Toby, and I will do one last, probably 20-minute thing on Skyrim, and then we can get back to normal life, but never stop playing Skyrim. So Elliot, anything you want to plug before we take off?
Well, yep, I have a YouTube channel, which is Jump Jump Die Gaming, and I've just put up my first video of Skyrim, which is just like an introduction to my character. And
I did watch that.
Introduction to the series that I'm going to be doing, which I'll be doing the College of Winterhold, which will be fun.
I'm enjoying your old man voice.
Yes. It's an old man wizard voice, by the way. Sorry. That's it, yeah. And you can go to jumpjumpdie.com as well if you really want to see hear my podcast with your ear holes.
I would encourage them to do it. Feel free to listen to both our podcasts. You can find my app, You can find me unable to speak on iTunes under the Simple Gamers title. Visit me at simplegamers.wordpress.com, though I probably will move to another domain soon, but I'll keep you all notified. And, of course, you can see me on YouTube under Simple Gamers Podcast, and you should watch all of my videos, including the video cast that I did with Trent, because we're so very, very tired, it's hilarious.
Nice. I'll watch it.
Alright, guys, see you around. This is goodbye from me, and hopefully goodbye from Elliot.
See ya!